Hey gang, I am Jay and you are watching Homemade Heroes. If you're at all interested in the author Brandon Sanderson's work, then you've probably heard the exciting news about the Cosmere RPG. This is an RPG that has, I believe, been long in the making and much requested by fans. It was originally known as the Stormlight RPG, but when it was revealed at Gen Con, it came out under the name the Cosmere RPG. Now this is huge. I am a really big fan of Brandon Sanderson and pretty much all of his novels. I've read all of the Mistborn novels and the Stormlight archive up to this point. Today what I'm going to be doing is showing you the Lego minifigures that I've created for some of the key characters in the Stormlight archive, and in certain cases comparing this to some of the source material. And although some of it has come from images that we have, whether that's fan art or official art from the Cosmere RPG, some of the features of the minifigures are just from my imagination or how I understood the characters to be when I read the books. And without further ado, let's take a look at the minifigures. I'm going to start off with a few non-named characters, and from there move into the characters that you'll probably know and recognize from the books. So firstly, I have a warrior wearing shard plate and also wielding a huge hammer. Shard plate, as you probably know, is the armor that was left when shard bearers gave up their blades in the recreants. And in this case, the shard bearer is using a giant hammer, which I referred to in the books and have been used to smash up various things, such as catapults and other types of war machines. Next we have a fuse. This is a combination piece. We have this body, which I'm not sure where that is from, but the head is from the Marvel minifigure series. I really like how the patterning, the black on red patterning, is very much in keeping with how Parshmen or singers, listeners, or the Voidbringers, the fused, are described in the books. They typically have a red, black, or white skin that has a marbled effect where you could either have black and red, or white and red, or black and white, or all three colors swirling across the skin of the person. Here is another fused, and you can see that I've used this red hairpiece to great effect, along with the red body. It does have a bit of a bestial nature with these kind of clawed feet, which is not really in keeping with how they're described in the book. But I do like the black armor piece on the front here and also on the back, along with these stippled or scaled sort of features. So that comes out really well. And our last generic fused is the figure here. And I love the black tattooing, which is actually from a Darth Maul figure from Star Wars. And that is a great piece for the fused. Again, I've got this sort of bestial leg piece with the claws, some sort of fur coverings there, and again the scaled or stippled marks on the legs. And the head here is very cool. This is from a Ninjago minifigure. There is a back print there, which makes less sense for this figure, but that could be covered by a hairpiece. But we've also got some really cool detailing here on the back of the minifigure. As you no doubt know, the Alethi are a race of humans, and they are quite a warlike race on the planet of Roshar, where the Stormlight archive takes place. This minifigure is designed to be a warrior wearing shard plate. Quite different helmet here, and I actually really like this helmet compared to the one on the shard bearer that I previously showed. In fact, this figure is designed to be Dalinar Kholin, and Dalinar is a very gregarious and friendly fellow, a natural leader, very charismatic, and so I think that face works well for Dalinar. And you can see here we have a shard blade. This is from an old castle set, but both the sword and the armor here were from that castle set. And I've even got an alternate hairpiece here. Dalinar has black hair with blonde streaks in it. I don't have any black hair with blonde streaks, but I think this hairpiece is really nice, as the book does definitely make note of his messy but wonderful looking hair. Here we have Dalinar Kholin, otherwise known as the Blackthorn. due to his warlike actions as a younger man. Dalinar is an Alethi, the patriarch of House Kholin, and was at one point the High Prince of the same house. Now Dalinar is a member of the Order of Bondsmiths and is in fact bonded to the Stormfather. This minifigure representation of Dalinar has that Kholin blue uniform there, courtesy of the Bespin Cloud City Guards from Star Wars. And there's some nice detailing on that, but pretty simple. I think that works well as far as a military style uniform, which is what Dalinar typically wears. The head and hands here are of that dark nougat, as Alethi are darker skinned with typically black hair. As far as the face on the headpiece that I've used, it's a little too grumpy. I think that while Dalinar is a stern-faced individual, I think that this is maybe edging into scowling a little more than I would imagine. A cool little added accessory here, which connects to the image of Dalinar, is the gem heart that he is holding in his hand. It is likely a reference to the unmade Ner'gol, or otherwise known as the Thrill. Here we have Dalinar Kholin, and you can see here again I've got another blue dressed body, which is very effective. You'll note that she's got that pure black hair and the darker skin tone, which is characteristic of the Alethi people. Now the head that I used here had some hair coloring down on the face there. That's a print, but otherwise it works pretty well. I've got the darker skin colored hands, and of course the safe hand covered in a glove, along with the shard blade. Now, as you can imagine, the shard blades are very distinctive looking weapons, and I haven't really been able to find anything that approximates them as well as I would like, but this is pretty awesome, I think. A very cool looking blade, even if it's not really similar to Jasnah's blade. Here we have Shallan. Shallan is a light weaver and Adolin's betrothed. She's also an artist, and you can see I've got a paintbrush, which could also be a quill of some sort, or a pencil, and a drawing here. If you're familiar with the Stormlight Archive books, you may notice that this is quite similar in style to some of the drawings that Shallan did of Urithiru. I think this hairpiece is really effective for Shallan's character, and you'll note that I've got her safe hand covered in a glove there. Next we have Seth, known as the Assassin in White, particularly in the first books of the Stormlight Archive. Seth is an assassin that kills Gavilar, the king of Elethkar, and also kills a bunch of other people, particularly rulers and shard bearers. And you can see here that we've got the characteristic shaved head of Seth and a white cape that I think works pretty well. Also the white body here. And for those fans of the series, you'll note that I've got him with the black blade. So this is the weapon that he wields in the most recent of the Stormlight Archive books. And that looks really cool. I love this effect. I've got black and white, the black blade. I can almost imagine this kind of smoky effect coming up off the blade as those lines of black travel up Seth's arm. And in the book, the blade is sentient and talks to Seth. I really love this minifigure. It might possibly be my favorite. And here we have Leshwi, one of the fused. You'll notice that in keeping with the books, I've tried to keep with a majority white body here with some red markings. The head, torso, legs, and cape are all from Lego Ninjago minifigures. You can see there's an alternate face print on the back side of that, so we'll keep it facing this way because it looks a bit odd. But the top knotted hairpiece looks really cool too, and it's not orange, but I do think it gives an amazing effect because it's long and has those thicker hair strands which are characteristic of the singers, listeners, and fused. I'm also really stoked at how the spear came out. Now, as I mentioned before, it's pretty difficult to get the shard blades and the weapons looking exactly like they do in the books, and other source material, as they're such unique looking weapons. But this came out really well. It's maybe a little bulkier than the spear that Leshwi uses, but I still think it looks awesome. And finally, of course, Kaladin Stormblessed. This is not my favorite minifigure that I've built for this series, but it does come up rather well. The hairpiece, we've got that characteristic black Alethi hair. I think the hair could have been longer, and I did hum and har about what to use, but eventually went with this hairpiece. The face is showing Kaladin in a slightly bearded state, which is not typical, but does occur in the books from time to time. I don't love this face and headpiece. I don't know that the expression really characterizes Kaladin the best, but it was just what I had. And the uniform that Kaladin is wearing, and also the uniform that Dalinar was wearing for his minifigure, they're Bespin Cloud City Guard uniforms. Nice little bit of gold embroidery and piping there. And finally, of course, the Sill Spear. This is a piece that comes in a lot of castle sets, and I do really like the way it looks. To be a bit more accurate, it shouldn't have had these pieces here, but overall the effect is great, and this is another good looking minifigure. To finish, here are all the minifigures grouped together, and I think this is the third or fourth video where I've created a set of minifigures for a particular RPG or movie, and it's really rewarding to see them come out as well as they have. Thanks for watching today, folks, and hopefully you're enjoying these little videos that I'm putting together to show off some of the minifigures that you're able to create from your favorite RPG, your favorite movie, books that you really love, all with Lego minifigure pieces that you may already have at home, or potentially could get pretty easily from Bricklink or another source like that. Thanks again for watching, and farewell for now.